Hello everyone and welcome to the LingQ podcast with me, Elle. This week's guest is joining us all the way from Korea, but before I chat to him, just a quick reminder if you aren't a LingQ user, what we're all about. With LingQ you can learn languages from content you are interested in. So if you enjoy podcasts like this one, you can take the episode with the transcript and the audio, work your way through it on LingQ, translating any of the words and phrases you don't know. Those words and phrases will look different in future lessons, so you can keep track of the words you're learning, the words you know, any new words that come up. There are also vocabulary exercises you can go into if that is your thing. Lots to help you make a breakthrough in the language you're learning. This episode is available on LingQ. The lesson link is in the description. This week I am joined by a guest all the way from Korea. It's morning for him, afternoon for me. I'm joined by Ian of the YouTube channel Korean Patch. Ian, how's it going?
It's going good. It's good to see you.
Excellent, you too. Thank you so much for coming on. So as I mentioned, for me right now it is Tuesday afternoon, and for you it is Wednesday morning, correct?
Yes, it is Wednesday morning. Yeah.
Okay, so thank you.
And I am not a morning person.
I was going to say, I always thank people for joining us in the mornings because I'm also not a morning person, so thank you. I know how it is to be chirpy in the morning. It's not cool, but thank you.
I'll do my best.
So, whereabouts in Korea do you live?
So I live in sunny Busan, the beautiful giant city way at the bottom of the peninsula. It's the second largest city in Korea. Yeah, I love it here.
Excellent. And you say sunny, so what's the temperature like right now, for example, on an average day in January?
Yeah, an average day in January. So it's actually, this is the worst day of all days for you to ask me this question because it's actually cold here today. It's like, in Celsius, it's like -1, but this area is subtropical, so it's very different than my hometown of Chicago, which is super cold. Here, it barely ever freezes, so I really like that.
Nice.
It's nice all year. Yeah, this is kind of like the vacation city in Korea. So.
Okay. Yeah. You know, I had heard of it before, but there's also that famous movie, of course, Train to Busan. Is that right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So.
Train to Busan. Yeah.
Excellent.
I don't know how much of that movie takes place in Busan, though.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I have seen it, so yeah.
Oh, you know what? Here's a Busan movie thing. If you've seen Black Panther, the Marvel movie, they filmed a bunch of that movie here in Busan. So,
no way.
Right near where I live, actually. Yeah.
Oh, did you see them filming?
No, but some of my friends did.
Okay.
I was working, so.
Nice.
But they did like a big chase on the bridge, a car chase. It's pretty cool.
I love that. I live in Vancouver, and it's a filming location for sure. And sometimes you spot sets, and it's always so exciting. Like, is it a cheesy movie or is it like
the big one, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So, as I mentioned, you run a channel called Korean Patch.
Correct.
It's for Korean learners. First off, I now know what Korean Patch means because I watched your video where you explained, but could you explain to our listeners, any of our listeners who don't know what that term means, Korean Patch?
Yeah. So in Korean, there's kind of a funny like slang term that people use to talk about foreigners who are really good at speaking Korean. So when you install the language pack for a piece of software or a video game or something, they usually call that the 한국어 패치, which means Korean patch, or they'll call it the 한글 패치 or something like that, which is the writing system. But when people in Korea see a foreigner that like unexpectedly speaks Korean really well, they'll say something that's like, wow, they've installed the Korean patch, clearly. So that's just kind of an expression they use to say like, this is a person who really speaks the language well.
Right. Excellent. Yeah. I like that. Do you ever get that in Korea?
Sure. Yeah, I've gotten that before.
Yeah. Nice. Good. Okay.
Yeah.
It would have been awful if you were like, no, never. That's good.
Yeah, I've never received a compliment ever. Not once. Not once.
So you come from Chicago, as you just said.
Right.
How long have you been in Korea now, and what brought you to Korea initially?
So I have been in Korea for almost 5 years. No, a little over 5 years. Almost 6 years, actually. I came to Korea right after I finished college. So I graduated from college and then pretty much like a month later got on a plane and moved over here to work, just to take like a year off from, working after finishing school because I was pretty burnt out.
Yeah.
And now I've been here for almost 6 years. I haven't left.
Oh, just like that. It's flown by, I'm sure. Is the
Yeah.
plan to stay longer? Is this your kind of home now, do you think? Or are you open to being back to the States?
I'm not particularly interested in going back to the States. I really like my life here, and I've been able to build a good life here, which a lot of foreign people probably can't say in Korea. And so I've started kind of shifting my career focuses on helping people to do what I've done, which is, build a life here.
And did you speak any Korean before you left from the States?
None, not at all. I mean, I've always been like a language enthusiast. So I know, I knew before I came here, like, oh, they say, Annyeong Haseyo or something like that. But, I grew up with a lot of Korean people around me. So maybe that's why the language wasn't, so exotic to me from the very beginning. But I didn't really speak any Korean when I came here. I couldn't read either. I kind of learned how to read on the plane on the way over here.
As good a time as any to start.
Nothing else to do.
How did you go about learning Korean?
Well, I tried a lot of stuff. So I have a really traditional language learning background in that I did the normal American study a language for 15 years at school. That normal pipeline that most people don't learn a language from.
Yeah.
I actually learned a lot of French by doing that. And I got really good at French, and I loved learning languages and all that. But when I tried to apply that to Korean, it did not work very well when I first got here. And so that was like the first thing that I did. And I kind of gave up really quickly. And so what I ended up doing that was effective was a lot of listening and reading things I couldn't really understand and repeating that until I could. And that's pretty much what I did.
Excellent.
So I think this is this fits right in with LingQ and this whole sphere of comprehensible input-based language learning. That's basically what I did, and that's kind of how I've fallen into meeting people like you, is because I've been looking for the others, that did the same thing.
Right. Yeah, I was going to say after watching the videos on your channel, the comprehensible Korean series that you run, I was going to ask you, we need to get that on LingQ. It's perfect. It's just, you out doing things in Korea, speaking in Korean, so it's not just, talking at the audience about, vocabulary or whatever. It's very cool, and really well done, so.
Well, thank you. Yeah. The idea behind that was to try, and I'm hoping other language learning channels will start doing this too, is to try to make materials that people would be watching anyway. Like people are watching Korea travel vlogs anyway. So we might as well try to like hijack the format and adjust the language so that it's more accessible so that people actually like experience it in the original language as opposed to just turning on the English subtitles and, just saying, whatever, I'll learn Korean later. This is too hard,
Yeah.
That was kind of the idea behind it.
Excellent. And do you have any, I know you mentioned, so you got right in and started consuming content that was difficult because you obviously you were interested in it.
Right.
Do you have any other advice for anyone who is thinking about starting a Korean learning journey, some at the very beginning?
Yeah. I mean, if you're at the very beginning, I think the best thing you can do is spend a lot more time than you would normally spend, learning the writing system and the pronunciation system. Because if you're able to, Korea has this pretty unique benefit among Asian languages where Korean does not really use Chinese characters very much anymore. They have a phonetic writing system that is very easy to learn. They actually have like a proverb here that's a wise man can learn this in a week, and a fool, oh man, I just messed it up. Lucky me. A wise man can learn this in a weekend, and a fool can learn it in a week. That's kind of the idea.
Okay. A weekend. Of course,
really? You can see really? You can see the one that where I fall. I'm in the fool category clearly, but the language, they're like even the World Writing Prize is named after the Korean king who invented the writing system that Korean uses today, called Hangul. Okay. He's King Sejong. Yeah, if you look that up, you can see that's like I think it's the Nobel Prize for advancements in writing systems or something, but don't quote me on that. But the writing system's really easy to learn, and if you're able to learn how to read the words you can't understand yet and say them out loud, the language becomes much easier to parse and much less like heavy, much less overwhelming when you start listening to people actually speak. Because Korean is it is one of the most difficult languages for native English speakers to learn. So there's basically nothing in common.
Oh. Yeah. That'll do it. That'll make it tough. Yeah. Yeah. I really do like the way, I have to say, that Korean script looks. It's very, it's beautiful. So that must be a big motivator if you agree. But
it's really cool. Yeah. It's even designed to look like what's happening inside the mouth. So like individual characters. Oh. Yeah. So for example, like the character that makes a k sound, ka ka ka, it's shaped like a 7 kind of, and it's to show that in the back of the mouth, the tongue is hitting the roof, ka ka ka, and it is shaped accordingly. So a lot of the characters have this like very visceral feeling to them when you learn how they work, and you can kind of, I don't want to overhype the writing system, but you can kind of visualize what you're doing in your mouth while you're reading if you know a lot about how the system works. I don't think most people do know that, but that's how it was designed.
I had no idea. So do you have any Korean content recommendations? Maybe this is more for intermediate and advanced learners. Any good movies, YouTube channels other than yours that you are into?
Yeah, okay. So the two best things that I think someone who wants to be able to speak Korean well, of course, I think reading's a different skill. I think we can agree on that. But if you want to listen and speak well, I think obviously you have to do a lot of listening, right? And so I think the two most powerful Korean language resources in the world are Netflix and YouTube. Those are like just overpowered resources, and they're both extremely popular in Korea. So Netflix, of course, is producing world famous TV shows right here in Korea. Like you may be familiar with what's called in English Squid Game, right? In Korean, it's called 오징어 Game. Yeah. Yeah.
How do you say it in Korean? Did you say?
오징어 Game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. A squid is called an 오징어. So game, yeah, of course, is game. But other things like the Sea of Silence and whatever that are really popular all over the world, these are made here in Korea and uploaded straight to Netflix. And you get all the multilingual subtitles and same language subtitles, which a lot of native Korean streaming services don't include. There's no Korean subtitles. I don't know why they do that, but and YouTube is also extremely popular in Korea. There's tons of YouTubers that are making just hundreds of hours of content a day that I'm sure you can find something you enjoy from. Of course, my channel has great content as well, but yeah, I'll give one specific recommendation too for people who are learning Korean. There's a great comedy YouTube channel. It's called Psick Univ. If you can read Hangul, you can find that. But they have a ton of high quality, fully subtitled, funny material you can learn from that I've been using for years now. I love it.
Oh, super. I'll get that from you, and I'll pop it in the description for anyone who'd like to check that out. Yeah. And so did you watch Squid Game? What did you think of it?
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah, I saw it when it first came out. It's a very Korean show, I think.
Yeah. How so? What do you mean by that?
So So I have not experienced the show in English. I watched it in Korean and listened, participated in online discussions about it in Korean, not in English. I've only read about what people say about it in English. I do get the vibe that it's a little bit more meaningful in Korean than in English. I think it's a little bit more deep. Yeah. For example, like all the games that they play and stuff, those are totally foreign concepts to, non-Korean speakers or non-Korean people, I guess. It has nothing to do with your ethnicity, but people who don't know Korean culture, those games are not as ubiquitous as they are here. Like when you see the symbols, you're like, oh, okay, they're going to do, Taegona now. Whereas it would be like in America or in North America if we were doing like hopscotch or like jump rope, if these were the games,
Okay.
So, yeah, I loved it though. It was cool.
Nuance. Yeah. I think I read on the BBC actually that people were saying to watch it in Korean and to watch it in English were kind of two different experiences, and they missed out the nuances when it was translated into English. So it's interesting. It's kind of sad for us non-Korean speakers.
A lot of the characters too are like caricatures of things that are happening in Korea. And if you don't know anything about Korean society, you're like, oh, why is there an Indian character or a Pakistani character? Why is there this North Korean girl? Like, what's going on? And if you live in Korean society, you know what's up. You know why these people are here. But otherwise, I think a lot of people are just confused. Like, why are there foreign people in this Korean thing? So you get that out of it too.
So tell us about Korean Patch. I mentioned that you have your comprehensible Korean series. What kinds of videos are you making, and what is the plan for the channel for 2022?
So there's more than one of us. What we're doing is trying to build a catalog of materials for people who are learning Korean who want to become authentic speakers. That's kind of a word that I've come up with, but I've been teaching people language and learning languages for most of my life, all of my adult life for sure. And I think there's a big difference between someone who is like fluent or proficient and somebody who is authentic. I think we often run into people who are not the most eloquent speakers in their language, but in their target language, but other native speakers of that target language totally receive them like a native speaker. And then sometimes there are people who are, like super, super fluent. They have really high like academic level of the language of their second or third language, but something's wrong, something's like not quite there. And I think that happens to a lot of people who learn Korean because the cultural foundation is just super different. A lot of people don't understand how to kind of pretend to be a Korean, if that makes any sense, how to create a Korean cultural persona. And so what we're trying to do with Korean Patch this year and going forward is create courses and hopefully initiate some discussion about the other things besides language that people need to learn about in order to be really authentic, members of Korean speaking earth, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So the first thing that we're working on, we actually just released the beta version of the course and sold out in 2 hours. So people are clearly interested in this, which is great.
Oh, excellent. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. We are, so the first thing that we're talking about is learning regional dialects and how that's pretty important in Korean. Future things that we're going to talk about are how you should be learning Chinese characters to improve your Korean and, how to improve your pronunciation and things like that. I'm not really interested in teaching people basic grammar or any of that kind of stuff, but I do think that there are a lot of things that native speakers know about their language subconsciously that if you ask them, they would say, I have no idea. For English speakers, maybe it would be things like Greek and Latin roots. We're able to just pull these from the ether whenever we need them. And you can hear words like anti-disestablishmentarianism and you know what it means right away. But someone who's learning the language, if they don't spend any time learning that these words are built of these little components, I think they really struggle to be natural, both in their understanding and in their production of the language. And so Korean has a bunch of things like that, and we're going to try to illuminate those and then share them with people in a way that English speakers can understand, hopefully. That's the
Excellent. So lots planned, lots of fantastic stuff for anyone studying Korean currently or anyone who wants to start studying Korean. Perfect. I will pop, of course, the link to your channel in the description, and also if I can get that that YouTube, was that a YouTube channel?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll send it to you.
I'll pop that in as well. Okay, perfect. Great. Well, Ian, thank you so much for joining us today early in the morning, and best of luck with Korean Patch.
Okay, thank you very much. It was great to meet you. I appreciate your time.
Thanks, you too.